believe that if we lower the standards for what it takes to become a doctor.
You're saying if we lower the standards,
Yes.
but do you believe people are dying because the standards are being lowered?
I don't
Or have
think
been
that
lowered?
is yet an issue, but it could become an issue.
I'm trying to understand your logic here when it comes to DEI, because there's no actual evidence of what you're saying.
No, I said, so if the standards, like let's say, I think that particular thing was referring to surgeons. Let's say a surgeon is asked to, a surgeon in training is asked to do a series of operations under the supervision of a senior surgeon, and they get a bunch of those operations wrong. If that happens, and yet they are still approved to be a surgeon, the probability that someone will die, I think, at some point is high.
Okay, I understand that, but that's a hypothetical. That doesn't mean it's happening.
I didn't say it's happening.
You didn't say it was happening.
I said it will. I said if we lower standards, people will die.
I don't think I need to tell you that international news reader Don Lemon is a complete moron. The guy works for CNN, worked for CNN, was fired by CNN. He has said just about the most insane things on the planet. And now, in a brief interaction with somebody who isn't a moron, although Elon does make some poor decisions at times, the whole world has seen just how pathetic Don Lemon is. And now, even more information has come out based on, I guess, some of his absurd demands of Elon Musk to gain his employment. And this leaked, and everybody's dunking on him, well, including me, and hopefully you. If you enjoy the video, please leave a like on it. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below. So if you followed the news last week, international news reader Don Lemon was fired on his first day of working for X after doing an interview with Elon Musk and essentially pressing him like he still worked for CNN, asking him to take responsibility for hate speech, all sorts of things like that. It was embarrassing for Don Lemon. Now, this is even more embarrassing. Don Lemon demanded the sun, the moon, and the stars from Elon Musk before unceremoniously being fired this week, the Post has learned. The ex-CNN anchor sent over an astronomical wish list to Elon Musk during contract talks to host a show on the billionaire social media platform X, including, but not limited to, demanding a free Cybertruck. So that's $100K, right? $5 million up front on top of an $8 million salary. He wanted $14 million a year, a free Cybertruck. I'm not even done yet. An equity stake in Twitter, and the right to approve any changes in X policy as it relates to news content, according to a document reviewed by the Post. Don Lemon thought Elon Musk was going to make him CEO, essentially. He wanted to be the CEO of X on top of a $14 million a year salary, on top of a free Cybertruck, on top of equity in a multi-billion-dollar company. This MFer can't even regularly get 100 likes on his tweets. I bet you if I go look at Don Lemon's tweets, I bet you he doesn't get 100 likes. Benny Johnson, dunking on him, got 30,000 likes. 30,000 likes. By the way, throwback to the last time Don Lemon tanked his career.
What, do you have anything on this before I move on to China?
I don't see what one has to do with the other, but go on. I took up a lot of time with Fox.
Oh, it's fine. We have time.
I don't really see what one has to do with the other, especially consider and using the Civil War to talk about black Americans. That war was not fought for black people to have guns. That's not.
That war was fought for black people to have freedoms in this country.
Yeah.
Actually, that's why the Civil War was fought.
Okay.
The sad
that
part
wasn't
about
fought
it.
for black people to have guns. I think.
Actually, you know, funny fact is black people did not get to enjoy the other freedoms until their Second Amendment rights were secured.
Oops.
And I think that that's one of the lessons that we
still
learned.
aren't allowed to enjoy the freedoms.
I
as well
disagree
in
with
this
you
country.
on that, Don.
Name one freedom that they can't.
I disagree with you. And I think you're doing a disservice to our country
okay.
by failing to recognize the fact that we have equality before the law.
When you are in black skin and you live in this country, then you can disagree with me. But we're not. You mentioned in here that
I
we have
disagree.
three different shades
Don, I
of
think we have to be
melanin
able to
here.
talk about these issues in the open, regardless of the color of our skin. Black Americans today, to say that, compare that to 1865 and 1964,
I think for you to compare it to
absolutely
1865 and
have equal rights in
1964
this
is
country.
actually, I think it's
I mean, Don Lemon, just for funsies, let's check out old Lemonhead. Let's check out his Twitter feed. Okay, he has 1.5 million followers. Episode 1, the biggest thing Don Lemon has ever tweeted, his interview with Elon Musk, which he then hosted on, well, everywhere. It's here on X. His interview 3 hours ago has not even 700 likes, and it's being ratioed into oblivion. Imagine how many views this would have gotten if he wasn't so greedy. By the way, this guy works for Twitter. He works for X. He works for X. And it's got 700 likes. Great job, Don. Elon, let's do a show. Okay, I want a Cybertruck, millions of dollars, and a piece of everything you own. Why do you hate free speech? What's wrong with you, Don Lemon? You're an activist pretending to be... I'm just looking for all the outstanding replies to Don Lemon's journalism here. Oh, there's one. An outstanding episode, Don. Now they're saying, what are the odds X shadow bans this? I mean, why were you unable to understand the... why were you unable to comprehend the basic, very basic explanation? Why do you release an interview early in the morning? It seemed Elon canceled your show for the right reasons, as there's really no scope in an independent media space. You've shown your real worth here, Don. No surprise, but you're exactly what you purport to hate to be against. You deserve everything you have gotten and had taken away. You spread lies, I mean, $14 million is what he wanted. By the way, also, again, I cannot understate this. He also wanted a free Cybertruck, equity stake in the company, and to be the new czar. He wanted a job. He wanted to oversight all of news. 42 minutes in, the goal of this entire interview is to produce a soundbite. That's it. One of the worst interviews I've ever watched. Felt like a short CNN gotcha segment, but extended for an hour. This guy is so bad at interviews. Nice to see him fail so miserably outside of his golden womb of mainstream media. I mean, he finally releases it, and he's a complete clown. The interview is so antagonistic and rude. I completely see why Elon decided to go in another direction. It was not hard-hitting journalism, but rather an attempt at a gotcha session by Don that he's trying to squeeze for every last bit of attention. The ride is almost over. I mean, this is what he wanted $14 million for? 700 likes? And by the way, if we go to the YouTube interview, so we can actually see real views, right? It has a whole 16,000 views in 4 hours. 4 hours! Shout out to back when Angry Joe was good. I like how Don Lemon asks about ketamine, then immediately follows up by asking Elon to explain the great replacement theory. The ketamine question is what pissed Elon off. You know, I mean, I think like, free speech is only important when someone you don't like can say something you don't agree with. I don't know why he canceled his contract with X. This interview tells on himself in so many levels. I mean, like, what is going on? It's again, look, you don't work for him. I think that, even Don Lemon set fake demands to force Elon to reject them. That way he could claim that Elon was out to get him. There's also a clip in here. You see Don Lemon on hate speech. Research shows that it's gone up on the platform since you took over. Is that not concerning to you? Tim writes, correct response. Don, that was over a year ago. New studies show the inverse. Do you have a more recent example? I mean, this, I'd be right. Holy crap. Don Lemon can't comprehend a conditional hypothetical. Elon Musk tries to explain how lowering the standards for doctors could result in more deaths. Don Lemon is unable to grasp that concept. The entire exchange is incredible.
I believe that if we lower the standards for what it takes to become a doctor,
You're saying if we lower the standards,
Yes.
but do you believe people are dying because the standards are being lowered?
I don't
Or have
think
been
that is
lowered?
yet an issue, but it could become an issue.
Okay.
He literally said if, and Don's brain's like,
But the actual evidence in history shows the exact opposite. If you look at how minorities are treated by the medical system,
Oh,
most doctors now are white, and there are lots of mistakes in medicine. So you're saying that white doctors have bad medical care?
what?
I'm trying to understand your logic here when it comes to DEI, because there's no actual.
He literally said his logic. If you lower standards through things like DEI, you are going to get worse medical care. It's very easy to understand. Now, you could disagree with that statement and try to make an argument for it, but to not understand a very conditional statement shows just how dumb Don Lemon really is.
Actual evidence of what you're saying.
no, I said, so if the standards, like let's say, I think that particular thing was referring to surgeons. Let's say a surgeon is asked to, a surgeon in training is asked to do a series of operations under the supervision of a senior surgeon, and they get a bunch of those operations wrong. If that happens, and yet they are still approved to be a surgeon, the probability that someone will die, I think, at some point is high.
Okay, I understand that, but that's a hypothetical. That doesn't mean it's happening.
I didn't say it's happening.
He said if. He said if. This, dude, like, I can't believe that Elon sat through an hour-long interview of this. He strikes me as a guy, by the way, that does not spend time talking to people that he views are stupid. And my guess is Elon Musk views a lot of people as stupid. And the fact that he sat through this for an entire hour is actually incredible. It's incredible at every conceivable level. This interview was more embarrassing and more hilarious than I could have ever imagined. I highly recommend just saving up for the clips. Watching this train wreck for an hour would be mind-numbing. You could see G Prime says, if Don Lemon is what happens when journalistic standards are lowered, imagine what will happen when we lower standards for jobs that actually matter. Shout out G Prime. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.